Hey everybody, it's your girl Edge. Thank you so much for tuning in to BeForreal, the podcast or the talk show where I
might tell you a joke, but I never tell you a lie.
So, if you're watching this, please note that this is a part 2, okay? Part 1 of my videos was part 1 through 3, and now this will be part 4 through 6 and a follow-up. Part 1 is linked below of this TikTok Storytime by Slay J. She found herself in a relationship for 7 years with a man who displayed questionable behavior that led her to believe that he was on the DL, okay? It's all alleged because she never actually caught him sleeping with a man, but there were things that happened that was like, yo, you might like me, and you might need to look into that. Okay, so this is part 2 of her story. We're getting to the point where he just told her that he spent the day at the clinic because he messed around with a girl that he met on a train. Okay, it's not making sense to her, but she's like, hey, my family spent money putting this party together, so we're gonna go in here, we're gonna put a smile on our face, and when everybody goes home, that's when you and I will discuss what's happening. This video is going to include the rest of the story as well as some comments and things that the people were saying throughout, and a follow-up that she decided to give answering questions to the comments. So let's get into it.
Everybody else leaves. Stay tuned for part 3, because when I tell you this shit is beyond me, and yes, I'm dumb, I'm stupid for staying for 7 years.
I hate that she's calling herself dumb and stupid, because when you love somebody, you do and allow a lot of shit that you wouldn't normally allow. And I think that she really needs to give herself some grace, because she loved him. And when you love somebody and they're lying to you and telling you they're sorry and telling you they'll never do it again, you wanna believe them. And you're just a girl in love. You're not stupid. You're just a girl in love making stupid decisions.
When at this point, this was only year 4. Part 4 of how I was in a 7-year relationship with a man who was very questionable and suspect. So we are now eating the dinner that my family prepared for us, opening our gifts, doing the best we could with keeping a good face and acting like nothing's wrong. And he's doing everything in his power. Like, he's doing the dishes, he's picking up everybody's plate, like he's being super attentive. And my family is kind of like, no, you don't have to, it's your anniversary. And he's insisting that he does this all because he knows what's going on. So fast forward, everybody heads out and everybody goes to bed. And I'm just sitting there looking at him like, what's wrong with you? Like, genuinely. So after over and over and over and over and over and over and over, I tell him, this is not flying. This story makes no sense. And you already disrespected me enough by doing this. You're not going to continue to disrespect me by giving me this half-ass story. What is this? It transpires to the whole story changing. So now the new story is that he was on Tinder. And him being on Tinder, he matched with somebody. His words, I matched with somebody and met up with them, and they gave me a blowjob. Okay, you met up with this person and gave you a blowjob. Where did you do it at? In their car. What kind of car they drive? Jada, what does that matter? What does that matter? I'm asking details now, because like, what is like? It's just it's so crazy to me that you're this comfortable with just meeting these random people. This is the second time in a row where this is a random person that you're meeting on the internet, and you feel the comfortability with potentially, or now you follow through. So the first time you was about to. The second time you actually did something with this person. You cannot tell me a name. I asked them, what does this person look like? He gave me the most vague description. Dark skin, about my height, and her name was Bree. No last name. No full name. Bree. That's it. You don't. Is it Brianna? Is it Brittany? Is it Berkeisha? Like, just Bree. So it's Bree. And nothing was making sense. Like, it was Tinder. So now at this point, I'm actually feeling,
Because he's lying. Nothing makes sense when you're lying. Like, just, what's the point? You can always, being single is always an option. You can go have sex with who you want to have sex with. Be single. Be open and honest about the fact that you want to sleep with multiple women. Don't enter a monogamous relationship. Like,
I'm actually feeling super disrespected. So now I'm getting a little bit more boisterous on my opinion of what I've been feeling for the past 4 years now, right? So now I asked him, I said, did you do something with a man? And I say it just like that. And he just looks at me like, what? It's almost like every time I confront him about something in regards to either his friend's sexuality, or now I'm confronting him about potentially his, it's never like this, like, what do you, like, why would you even think that? Or it's just kind of like like the feeling I got was like, how did you figure this out? So now I'm full on confronting him about it. He's denying it, of course he would, but he's not doing anything that would prove his point. I would feel like if my girl, my woman, is accusing me of having anything homosexual going on, I would go to the ends of the earth to prove, no, who I met up with was a woman and I did something with a woman. He wasn't doing any of that. Red flag on the plate. I know all of this is red flags, but this is when I particularly at this moment, being head over heels in love with somebody, was saying like, okay, now red flags for sure. Any other time I was just guessing, assuming, you know. Now I'm feeling like, okay, this is definitely something. Something is going on. Now, mind you, I told you, because of what was going on, the world shut down. So now I had to go find a place that was willing to take me to go get tested myself. And then at that time, we didn't even know what was really going on. So I was scared to go outside. And now I'm forced to go outside because now I got to go see if I'm good. Luckily, I was amazing. I was good. Everything came back clean. His stuff came back and he was clean. Broke up. Now, at this point, when we broke up for 3 months.
we broke up for good. At this point, that was enough for me. We broke up for good. Not only did you go out and fuck somebody else, but you sought out to fuck somebody else. You didn't just meet this person on the train like you said. You didn't just just see this person at a club, or this was a co-worker who you spent a lot of time with. You got on an app to seek sex. You got on an app to seek a connection or whatever with somebody else other than your woman. You went out for that reason. You went out looking for it. So not only did you successfully do it, but you did it in the middle of a pandemic. There's already a risk of getting sick. And now you want to bring home some sick dick. What, like, when COVID first happened, people thought they were going to die from leaving their house. They thought they were going to die from just having that air, breathing in that air. And not only did you brave the virus, but you potentially brought home another one.
Stop it. Get some help.
You wasn't even safe with that. You do not care about life, yours or mine, especially not ours together. So we broke up for 3 months. No, baby girl. You should have broke up for good. But she already says that she knows she should have made better decisions. But good Lord, this is when you should have been talking to your sister. This is when you should have been going to your sister for advice. You giving her numbers and shit to search and call and investigate. She need to be investigating your ass and why you won't let this fool go. That's what your sister needed to be doing.
For 3 months. Baby, please, baby, please, baby, please. Da 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 da. Same spiel over again. We got back together. I know, y'all. I know. Stop screaming at me. Stop screaming at me. This is how dumb I was. All of that happened in April. His birthday is in September. I took him on a birthday trip, y'all. So I took him on his birthday trip, and I asked all his friends and family to send me videos of them telling him happy birthday and how much he means to them. And I made a big collage to play for him on his birthday.
What the fuck?
Yes, I know. I'm stupid. While we was out there, I did bring up everything that happened in April. And I told him, if you do anything remotely, even close to anything that we had experienced in the past, and I find out anything, we're done. We are done. Okay? Done. Okay.
I feel like when people say that, like, if you do anything and I find out, it's a wrap. If you're already a cheater, all you hear is, I gotta cheat better. I have to cheat better. Now, what I will say about this guy is it doesn't seem like he comes forward every time like he does something wrong. It comes forward when he wants her to get tested, which, shout out to him for at least having enough integrity to do that. I guess. But yeah, that whole, if I find out, it's over. To me, in a cheater's mind, that just means I got you. I got you, mamas. You won't find out a thing. You won't find out nothing. I can promise you that.
So for about, I want to say 2.5 years, things were going smooth sailing.
After she said that, 2.5 years, things were going smooth sailing. You won't find out a thing. You won't find out a thing, okay? Nothing. That's all that was. For 2.5 years, he played it safe. Literally. He was doing his thing. I can guarantee you he was doing his thing. But he was making sure they were clean so that he didn't have to tell you about getting tested. At least that's what I think. That's what I believe to be true.
Moved in with each other. Things were becoming better, but as far as the friendships he was having, still felt very, very weird to me. And he continued to make friends and get overtly close with them. So that was still an argument, because now I feel the way that I feel. So now I'm side-eyeing all your male friendships that you're having. And that gave me anxiety. It made me paranoid. It made me very insecure. Because not only did I feel like, okay, there's women maybe around my man, but now I have to worry about men being around my man. Fast forward, now we moved to Atlanta. We're in Atlanta now. Things are going cool. Now, I was financially stable in New York. When I came to Atlanta, I was not, because I was starting my career all over again. So he started becoming the one that was a little bit more financially stable. He was taking me to work. Just everything was going pretty cool. And then he started doing Lyft. So now he started to say like, oh, he had to go out a lot and make this money, driving all the time in his car, barely was home. So now being distant, being detached. So I started to see the red flags on the play again. So now that I'm seeing all the red flags on the play again, we're gearing up to go to part 5. Hopefully part 5 is the last part, because this is the straw that broke the camel's back. And like I told y'all, I told him the last time, if something happened again, this will be the last time. And I was not playing. So stay tuned for part 5 to see how this jackass fucked around and found out. All right, so part 5 of how I was in a 7-year relationship with a very questionable and suspect man. Okay, let's get it. So I'm just going to rewind a smidget, because I did say that we were good for those years that we lived together, and we weren't. I was just referring into nothing really happening on like the cheating front, but things started to get physical between us, because like I said, I was confronting him about the friend still, even though there was no definitive proof of the cheating. It was still very questionable about the relationships that he was having with his friends, and just the comfortability of him kind of showing me like any new friend that he made, it being a male, that they kind of like had the one up on me a little bit. That's the feeling that I got. Not that he was saying that, but it always felt like I would go to the ends of the earth for my friends and like their birthdays or their outings. But when it came to my birthdays and it came to something that I needed his support in, when it came to me, it was just half-ass or nothing at all. So we would get into arguments like that, and then things would become physical. So I just wanted to rewind a little bit. Now we're going to fast forward back to us moving to Atlanta. So now we're living in Atlanta, and like I told you before, I was a little bit more financially dependent on him, and he was using Lyft as in, oh, since I'm supporting you now too, I gotta go out here, I gotta do what I gotta do, I gotta grind. So he was out majority of the day, and because his job was in his car.
I'm sorry, but there is no way we're going to be having not just fidelity issues, but now I'm questioning if you like men. We're not moving to Atlanta. We are not moving to Atlanta. The fact that you even want to move to Atlanta, I don't know if it was his idea or hers, she didn't specify, but that to me would be questionable because, baby, I don't care how many years passed of us doing well and you not cheating on me. We are not moving to Atlanta while having this issue. No.
And he did give me his location because that was a part of the guidelines of us getting back for the second time. He was now saying, oh, if you see me anywhere, I'm doing the lift. So he had excuses. He had like a clear cut excuse of why he would be somewhere that was just in West Bubble. Okay. So now on this particular day,
her makeup looks so fucking good. Like, you shouldn't be around here crying about no man. Like, you shouldn't be wondering. You shouldn't be doubting. Like, Miss Ma'am, you're that girl. You are her. Like, 7 years of that bullshit? Looking how you looking? Yeah, no. No. No, ma'am.
Getting ready to make my makeup clients. It's a wedding, and he's being very attentive. It's like he's being very attentive, but very that same cold, distant. Like every time he does something, he's not
trying to pack your ass up and get you to your client so he can go do what the fuck he want to go do and who he want to go do.
Supposed to do. He gets like this, but also being attentive. So he offers to drive me there. He's putting the car, he put in the bags in the car, my makeup case, loading it up, opening my door, like doing things that is very sad that he hasn't done in a long time for me. When we get to the venue, he's taking my stuff out, he's walking me to the door to say goodbye. He gives me this long kiss, and he's just being very attentive.
That's what he doing. Go head on. Yeah, have a good day.
But while he's doing all of this, he's not able to make eye contact with me. So it's like, it's very weird. Okay, so I do my clients to the bridal party. He comes and picks me up. I give him money for gas. He denies it. He's like, no, you don't need to do that. Whatever the case may be. I'm like, you sure? Like, blah, 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 blah. Now, mind you, he had no problem taking my money for gas any other time. So I'm just like, okay. So one of my coworkers was having a farewell party and invited me. So he was going to take me there. Now, I was going to Uber there because I planned on drinking or whatever the case may be. And I knew that he had to go do Lyft. He says, no, I don't have to do that. He's going to take me. So he proceeds to take me. On the way to the party, he asks me, have I been to the doctor lately? And I said, no. Why would I? Why? It's nothing wrong with me. He sighs and he's doing these little facial expressions while he's driving. That's really peculiar to me. So I'm like, my smart little mouth, I'm like, why? You was out here doing something? And he says, yes, I did. I got ahead from this person and my test results came back today and I have gonorrhea. So I'm in the passenger side and I'm just looking at him. Now, mind you, he's not taking his eyes off the road. He's not looking back at me. He's just looking straight.
And this is why you don't forgive cheaters. Because if they shenan once, they're going to shenan again. Like, now he has something. And he could have gave that to you. Number one. Number two, what is up with this man telling her stuff on important days? Like on days where it's like he wants her to break down right before she has to be around people or right before she's supposed to be enjoying herself. Like you could have told her this at home. You could have told her this tomorrow when she got back from the party. Like, he has a thing with wanting to ruin her day. Is it just me? Like, am I the only person that gets that? Like, every time there's an event, anniversary party, now the going away party, now, like, every time there's an event or something, he has bad news to tell her. Something where she's supposed to be enjoying herself. It's like he's getting off on not only getting off when he's cheating on you, but now he's getting off on hurting you and potentially embarrassing you by you going into these places with all this on your heart. And, like, he gets on my fucking nerves.
He's not looking back at me. He's just looking straight ahead, and I'm just looking at him. We got to the destination of the party. I got out of the car, and I said, "Are you able to pick me back up?" He says, "Yeah," and he just still no eye contact. I get back in the car, and I just tell him, like, how could you? But I'm so calm, the same way I am right now. I'm just looking at him, and I'm just like, how could you? And then we arrive back to our house, and I take a shower, and I lay down, and he proceeds to get in the bed with me, and I just burst out in tears. I just burst out in tears. When I tell you, it was that ugly cry, that type of cry. So I asked him, how did this happen? What did you do? He goes and tells me he was on Tinder again, met somebody from Tinder, and got a blowjob.
That man is on Grindr. He's on Grindr. I just want to put that out there. That man is on Grindr. He's saying Tinder, but he means Grindr. If you know, you know.
And caught gonorrhea. So I said to him, I said, you know what? It's so crazy how every time you do something always happens. Like, you don't think that's crazy?
Every time you find out something has possibly happened, there's a difference. Not every time he does something, every time you find out that he has done something, it's because potentially you've caught something and he just wants to let you know.
He says, yeah, like, you know, I only ever did anything those 3 times. And I said, okay, so you only did things 3 times, and every time you get caught, or every time something bad happens to you. So I told him in the most calm voice possible, we're done. I told you if there's anything happened like this again, we will be done, and it's over. He called my bluff, and I said, I can give you a month to find somewhere else to go and somewhere else to live, but you are not staying here no more, and we're done. He tries to talk, work it out, and I said, at this point, it's either you are doing things with men or you did something with a prostitute. Which one? This jackass says, oh, I did something with a prostitute. So I said, okay, you did something with a prostitute. How did you pay the prostitute? He tells me, it was cash. I said, okay, so show me the transaction or where you took money out.
I'm not going through all of that. You did what? Okay, we're done. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Men, prostitute, paid with card, credit, cash, I don't care. Once that I'm done hit, why are we still talking about it? You got a month to get out. That's it. We not finna be playing investigator with a nigga I'm done with.
Of your bank. He shows me a statement of when he took out $80 from a bank in Riverdale. I I said, that's very peculiar because that same bank around that same time in that same area is when you took out money to come and get my nails done. So you want to try again? He starts, Jada, I don't understand. What point are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove? And I just looked at him and I said, this is the saddest thing. This is the saddest thing. I said, you need help. And we lived with each other for a month. And in that month, I've seen him go from up and down, hot and cold. It would be days he would come home and he wants to work it out. And baby, please. And baby, please. And then it would be days to where he treated me like shit on the bottom of his shoe. And we had a dog together. He said, I'm not doing shit for that dog. Don't ask me to walk it. And then it'll be days where he'd come in and he'd be like, does the dog need this? And does the dog need that? And I'll do this. Oh, I'm just trying to make it work. I want to get married to you. I want to have babies with you. And then he'll come the next day and be like, you find a way to get to work. I ain't taking you to work. I ain't doing nothing for you. It was that for a month. So come June 1st, I told him, you have to leave. He tried to give me another month's worth of rent. I gave it back to him and I said, you need to leave. You need to go. We are done. Stay tuned for part 6. I promise part 6 is going to be the last part. I'm going to try to sum it all up. Okay.
Now we go into narcissistic abuse, because that whole hot and cold, playing with your feelings and your emotions and pulling you in and dropping you and pulling you in and dropping you, that's narcissism 101. Okay, I'm not going to go into that too much, but that's what that is. That's, oh, I love you so much, I just want to make it work. Next day, you don't even fucking exist. Next day, I can't even fucking stand you. You're the worst thing that ever happened to me. I can't wait till this money's up so I can move out. After that, next day, I just, like, why are you making it so difficult? Like, we could be happy together. I love you so much. Da, 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 da. Like that, playing with your emotions. That's abuse. That's abuse. And people need to start recognizing that as such. For those extremes, you know? All right, finale. Now is the final part. And then she does do a follow-up. So, yeah.
Okay, so part 6 of how I was in a 7-year relationship with a very questionable and suspect man. Let's go. So like I told you, I gave him a month to get himself together. And during that month's time, he was going through every emotion known in a book, treating me like he's groveling at my feet. And seeing that's not working, to resorting back to treating me like complete utter shit. So during that month, I would hear him on the phone with the best friend, the infamous best friend. And I would hear sometimes the best friend saying like, yeah, bro, you better off without her. And I would let it slide. I would hear it because sometimes I felt like, out of all the other times you were on the phone with the best friend and I could never hear your conversation, even when I was trying to. Now I'm able to hear it so vividly, like almost like you want me to hear him say that. Okay. So, initially, I packed all his stuff up already when we got back from the party the day that he told me. So I packed all his stuff up. So everything was already in boxes. He took the boxes from the room that we was in together to the garage and left them in the garage for the remaining time of the month. Cool. So, and then he was not sleeping in my bed. He was sleeping in another room. He comes one time in the room and gets in the bed as if nothing happens and proceeds to touch on me like we were about to do something. I kicked him out expeditiously. That pissed him off. So that was close to the time where he was gearing up to leave. And so from that point on, it was just like in passing, walking right past each other. Cool. So I get a call from his dad. His dad proceeds to tell me, oh, like, that's your man, don't let your man go, don't let anybody else have the satisfaction of taking your man from you. Because no matter how bad, and this is another part, maybe in another story time I'll tell you, but he used to throw me under the bus every chance he get, to his friends, to his family. Like, did not give me no protection. Like, he would talk bad about me to his friends and family, to where they started treating me differently. And I know that because I had a conversation with his sister, and all the stuff that she told me, he said about me, I'm like, wow, majority of it was lies. And for the stuff that was true, he never told her the things that he did to make me react that way. But because the father, I'm guessing he was saying that because he didn't get the full scoop. And I told him, but you know, he caught something. He caught gonorrhea. So he could have easily gave that to me. And now he don't care about my life and I don't feel safe. His father proceeds to tell me, but that's your man. You have to stick by your man. I hung up. No. So he leaves. Now, when he leaves, I want to say 2 months go by. And a month goes by the first time he tries to reach out to me and tries to tell me like he wants to come back and he's going to make it work. And then he does it a second time, the second month. No, both times. Not happening. I was already done. I told you the last time was going to be the last time. And I was done. I didn't feel safe with this person no more. I didn't feel like I knew this person no more. It got physical. My health is at risk. I don't trust you. And every time he cheated, it just got worse. And I just wasn't willing to take that chance on seeing what the next worst was, because now the next time I might catch something that I cannot get rid of. Because we're in Atlanta. And I feel like you're doing what you're doing because there was never no proof of any woman in sight. For 7 years, I was arguing with this man about men.
And you're in Atlanta. You were arguing with this man about men in New York, and you went to Atlanta. Atlanta. And then the dad, that's your man. Don't let nobody else take your man. How about my man don't go to nobody else? How about that? Because once my man go to somebody else, they can have him. If you can get him, you can have him. That ain't my man. Because my man won't do that. That man don't belong to me. Like, it's that simple. I'm glad she at some point woke up, because 7 years is a long time. Like, at the end of this, we die. At the end of this life, we literally die. So think about a lifespan of 90 years old. 7 years? That's too long. That's too long. And in all 7, you had a good 3. Something ain't adding up, babe.
So from certain people and through the grapevine, I find out that he is creating this whole new narrative that I just let him become homeless out into the streets and didn't care and just kicked him out. And my family was way too invested in our relationship and drove a wedge between us and so forth and so on. And that was the reason that we ended. Okay. So fast forward a little bit more, I find out that he has a new girlfriend and he moves in with the girlfriend relatively pretty quickly. I understood exactly the reasoning for that. Okay, you need a place to live, and you probably took the first opportunity you could get But that was none of my business. I'm not saying that because that's any of my business. All I'm saying is this is just a warning to a lot of women. Whenever you have a gut feeling about anything, it doesn't have to be the man's sexuality or whatever the case may be. Whenever you just have a gut feeling about something, just listen to it, because I could have saved myself a lot of heartache, a lot of embarrassment, a lot of money, because like I said, for a majority of our relationship, I was the one doing, opposed to the first couple dates that he took me on to, I guess, now to what I know to be love bombing. And then his real colors came out. All I'm saying is, please, when you see something that doesn't sit right with your soul, or you feel something that doesn't feel right with your soul, run.
I'm so glad she mentioned love bombing, because that's exactly what it was. If you find yourself 6 years into the relationship and the only thing you can think of is how it was in the beginning, you were love bombed. If you have nothing, if you've been together 7 years and you're still thinking about the first 6 months, you were love bombed. None of that was real. None of that was who they are. Like, you should not have to think that far back to a good memory. Okay? You were love bombed. That's all that was. That was what they had to do to get you. And that's it, and that's all. Like, yeah, I'm so glad she mentioned that, because that's exactly what happened to her.
So, more of the story. Like I said, gut feeling, listen to it. And if you're in a relationship that's getting way too toxic, and you just had this feeling like, oh, but what if everything that I taught him, he goes and treats the next woman better than me? That may be true and it may not be true, but you will not have to go through the same trauma and heartbreak that you've been going through. Like, let the next woman handle that. Let the next woman go through that. Let the next woman see whatever she needs to see, or let the next woman make him better, whatever the case may be. But just worry about yourself and worry about getting yourself out of this toxic relationship.
A lot of people do exactly what she just mentioned. They'll hold on to a relationship because they feel like, I've poured so much into this man or this woman. I poured so much into him, and I just want the payoff. Like, what if I leave right now, right before the payoff, right before they get it, right before it clicks, and then all of my hard work and love and affection and everything goes to somebody else? Let it go to somebody else. There are things you tolerate, and there are things you don't tolerate. And at some point, what you choose to tolerate is now your fault, because this person has showed you time and time again who they are, and you decided to take that abuse just in case they wake up and want to appreciate you. Just in case the next woman, and a lot of times too, before I go to that point, is that you're still holding on to that love bombing phase. So you know what the next woman is about to get. Even though you know what comes after the love bombing, you know for at least 6 months she's going to have the man you've been waiting for. You know for the next 6 months she's going to have the man that you had in the beginning, and that's the only man you want back. So you know once he moves on to the next woman, she is going to get that. But please keep in mind, she's going to get that for 6 months, baby. She's going to get that for 6 months, just like you got it for 6 months. And then hopefully she doesn't go through this, but she could potentially spend another 7 years of her life trying to get those 6 months back. You're way past that. You're way beyond that. So it's one thing for for life to be life, and money to be funny, stuff like that. But if a man is actively cheating on you, beating you, putting their hands on you, gaslighting you, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially abusing you in any way for years, holding on to that first 6 months is not going to do you any justice. Get out. Get out. Protect yourself, save yourself, and get out. Those first 6 months are not coming back. And if they do, it'll be for a day or two. When they need something. Or when they're so, like I said, whole nother rabbit hole, but get out. Get out. Don't worry about what's going. You know what the next woman gonna get. She's gonna get what you had at first. She is. That's the bottom line. But remember the fact that none of that was real. If you do anything, pray for that woman. Pray for her strength, because you know what's coming next. You know what's coming next. Act like it.
I may do other parts of other aspects of this relationship, but as far as the DL stuff, for me, he's not beating these allegations, because for 7 years and you knowingly cheated on me 3 times, you got caught, and there has never been any proof of a woman being involved, we have to talk about that. Like, that has to count for something. So yes, watch out, because you don't only have to worry about the women now. You have to worry about the man taking your man. Yeah. So thank you for...
I mean, you only got to worry about that if your man's gay or bisexual or a cheater, because they didn't take your man. He stayed with you. You stayed with him. They just had a PCO man, and that only happens when you're with a cheater. He could have been bisexual all day long. That's the thing. You can be bi and be in a happy monogamous relationship with a woman when you're a faithful man. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter how attractive they are. None of those things matter when you're faithful and committed. The only way you have to worry about a person, man or female, taking what's yours, if what's yours wasn't really yours. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
So thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
So she did a follow-up video to the story time. And before we get into the follow-up video, I just want to go through some of the comments with you guys so I can get your opinion, because the comment section was lit. It was lit. They were going in, because a lot of times either people were agreeing like they've been through those things before, or people just cannot believe she went through that. Like, how, like, you're too beautiful, you're too talented, you're too all of these things. Like, how, like, I'm sorry that happened to you. Like, how did you get through this? So let's go through some of the comments before we get to the follow-up video. So Portia said, I know your sister was stressed. Let me tell you something. As a big sister, I would have wrung my sister's neck. Like, listen to me. Like, in part 1, the sister was like, he's gay. In part 1. In part 2 or 3, the sister was like, he's messing with a transgender woman. Like, yeah, as a sister, I would have been super stressed out. Famous author Powell said, each part has me in a chokehold because it gets worse. Each one, worse and worse. It got worse. It got worse. Okay? Ridiculous. You were smarter than you gave the young you credit for, and I hope you never made yourself feel bad. Exactly. She was, and she kept saying, I know I was dumb, I know I was stupid, I was dumb, I was stupid. Girl, you were successful, you were running a business, you had a man in your life who was manipulative. We've all been there, but it doesn't make you stupid. You made some bad choices, but you weren't stupid, you weren't dumb, you were in love, which in some cases is kind of like synonymous. But hey, give yourself some grace. The Yogi podcast said, to the mom is diabolical. When to the mother, she never once said the side woman sent the video to her. She sent it to her mother. Nothing worse than a person who lies and then tries to gaslight you. Happy you're better now, because I don't wish that on no one. Slay J said, on no one. Oops. I wouldn't wish this on my enemy. There's some things that I've said that too that I would absolutely wish on my enemy, but you know, that's another story for another day. But yeah, the gaslighting was real. The gaslighting was serious in this one. This is a wild story. I literally watched all 7 parts, but it feels unfinished. I need the rest. Slay J said, it feels unfinished due to the fact that there's a lot of people attached to this story. And to speak on certain aspects, I would have to speak on things that they're not ready to speak about. Okay. I respect that, even though that makes me even more curious. Like, girl, what happened? What's tea? Another comment said, you were so patient. I'm happy you stood up for yourself and stood 10 toes down on business. Pops was wilding for sure. Pops say that's your man. She said, but he caught something out here. Pops said, don't let nobody take your man from you.
He's a good man, Savannah.
What?
Good man. He's just in a bad situation right now, and he's trying to get out of it.
I'm curious as to what the fuck he told the son. Like, it's okay. You know, it's her. It's her. If she really loved you, she would stick with you through whatever. And there's people out here that get that kind of advice and they actually believe it. They actually believe it. Like, and then will come at you like, so-and-so said that if you really love me, you'll stay with me. I don't give a fuck about you or so-and-so. Tell so-and-so to fuck you. Okay? This person said, I'm glad you stood on what you said and got out of that situation. And now you're on your healing journey. Sorry you had to endure this. She said, thank you. Yeah, like, that was a lot. It was a lot going on. But I just feel like I hope that moving forward, not only is she more aware of, you know, the signs and the red flags and listening to your intuition, but also still soft and welcoming and open to being in love, because not everybody is like that. The fact that she still lives in Atlanta, though, good luck finding a faithful man. I'm gonna leave that at that. Good luck. But I still hope that her heart isn't like hard and cold and stale, you know, because being in a drawn out abusive relationship of any kind, and one where there's a lot of infidelity and lying and all those things, being in a relationship like that will really traumatize you. So yeah. Another comment said, why is he always giving the bad news before an event? Like he's always trying to ruin a good time. Thank you. I said the same. I'm like, what is up with this man? With every time she was going to an event or, you know, about to do something positive and have a good time, he was like, oh, I gotta tell you something. By the way, like, why not wait until afterwards? Like, why not wait? Thank you. Another comment said, he definitely cared for you, but seems to have been caught up with accepting who he truly is. I'm a little indifferent to that. I believe he cared that she was in his life because he wanted access to her. And I believe that he cared about her health because he still wanted to have sex with her. So it was like, I need to make sure you're clean because I did something dirty. Like, that's all that was. It wasn't about really caring about her, because if he had did that one time and that was like, hey, did you go to the doctor? I need you to go to the doctor because something could be wrong with you because of something that I did. If that happens once, then I would be like, okay, that scared him. He was like, yep, not putting my baby in no danger. And it never happened again. But it happened that she knew of 2 more times. That she knew of. So to say like, oh, he cared about you. Oh, fuck that. And he's not having when people say, oh, they're having a hard time accepting it. What's hard about it? I feel like having a hard time accepting it means you're having a hard time deciding whether or not you want to fuck on the same sex. That's having a hard time. Once you're actively continuing to fuck on the same sex and continue to do what brings you pleasure, you're not having a hard time trying to figure out who you are. You're having a hard time letting go of the person that you're committed to. Just go do what you want to do, or have a conversation with her about what you want to do and let her have the choice of being a part of it or not. And if the answer is no, that's her right. It's her right. You do not have the right to hold somebody else hostage to your desires. That's not fair. That's not right. And it's not, once you start fucking a nigga, you've accepted it. Another comment said, your emotional control is top tier, girly. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Slay J responded and said, if only I wish it was emotional control. In reality, it was defeat and being really broken by this point. I legit had no more fight in me by this time. I agree with that, and I'm glad she corrected the original comment, because a lot of times when people are cheated on and they stay and stick it out, people be like, oh, you're so strong. I'm so glad you were so strong and you went through that. And a lot of times it's not strength that's keeping you there. It's weakness. It's being weak in a sense of you not feeling you deserve better, you not knowing that you will find better. This person love bombed you so good in the beginning and sometimes throughout the relationship, to the point where you think they are the best thing since sliced bread. So you don't think you're ever going to find that again. So you got to stick with the down to get the good, or stick with the bad to get the good. But that's not strength. Strength is like, you're not going to try me and I'm going to go on with my life. In some cases, that's strength. A lot of people be like, oh, it's so easy to leave. No, it's easy to stay. Sometimes it sucks to stay, but it's easier than leaving. No packing involved, no moving involved, no explaining involved. We just sweep it all under the rug and act like nothing happened. That's easy. Yo, moving to the city where they share their pictures nonstop, knowing what you knew. Jay, you are too sweet for this. I'm shouting at the screen because what the fuck? You know how to tell a good story though. This is crazy is what that emoji means to me. Slay J said, LMAO, oh my God, thank you, sis. I don't know who this person is, but I like her. I like her because that is going to Atlanta when men are the problem. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. Okay, so now that we're done going through those comments, let's go through the follow-up, and then we're gonna wrap this video up, because I want to get to the comment section. I want to know what y'all thinking. I need to know what y'all thinking, because all of this is absolutely insane.
So I'm getting this question a lot. One, how did you let him back in? And how did he end up with a whole birthday trip? So this is the Q&A segment of how I was in a 7-year relationship with a questionable and suspect man. Let's get it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with how I ended up getting back with him after the second time that he cheated, which was the whole anniversary fiasco. Okay, boom. Okay, so we're going to rewind and we're going to go to the best friend. Now, it took me, I want to say, up until last year to just realize, okay, the best friend was not the problem. I just figured out Ronnie does this with a lot of different people. Like he tries to pin me against them so that I won't talk to them, so that I won't find out that he's playing both sides and he's lying a lot of the time. So that's the theme that I caught. So I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, let's go. So during this particular time, me and the best friend were cool. Prior to me breaking up with Ronnie, and he calls me one day and tells me, hey, what's going on, Jada? Like what's happening? Like, basically, to sum it up, bro been telling me you're going through it and he just want to get back together. He just want to make it right. What does he have to do to make it right? So I tell him that I had a conversation with Ronnie and said to him, like, during the 3 months that we were broken up, like, the only way I would even fathom getting back with him is if he took a lie detector test. So he says, you want bro to take a lie detector test? You know, like, those aren't always 100% accurate. And I said, it doesn't matter what the results come back with. I just want to know something. Like, I just want to know. Like, I have no answers to nothing. This is the second time this is happening, and I still have no answers. I don't have much answers from the first time, and now he's telling me the story, and I don't have answers from this time neither. Like, that's what I want. Like, that's the only way we're going to get back together, is if he agrees to do that. So me and the best friend, we kind of like go back and forth a little bit, because he was like, I don't know if bro is going to really want to do that. And I said, that's the only way. Like, that's the only way I would do it. So at this point, I realized that he's with Ronnie. Like, so he's in front of Ronnie having this conversation, and he's kind of like having these pauses. I guess those pauses was just kind of like looking at Ronnie and seeing like, bro, what you wanna? So, okay, we hang up, we end that conversation, and I want to say about probably like a half an hour to an hour later, Ronnie texts me and says, you're gonna always be mine, like, I'm never gonna let you go, like something like that. And I just told him, Ronnie, like, the best friend knows, like, the only thing that is gonna take for me to get, like, even remotely close to you again. So he puts shaking my head, okay, he'll do it. Okay. So now I'm researching, I'm looking for places to do this lie detector test. I found a place. Long story short, it ends up being a scam. Like, they scammed me. I had to give them my credit card information over the phone, and stupidly I did. And some funds was taken out. Like, they took out like $2. I guess they wanted just to see if this was a valid card. And I'm like, what? So I immediately called my bank and shut the card down because it seemed sketchy. And then once that happened, I knew shit was sketchy. So I just, deaded it. Being young and dumb, again, I just felt like because he was willing to take the lie detector test, that was enough for me. I kind of like, I guess, rationalized it in my head like, oh, he was willing to do this. That means, he's finally going to start telling me the truth. And maybe if I just say, fuck all the past situations, we could start fresh. We could rebuild everything that was broken. And this is me being very naive, very stupid, very dumb, very young, and just rationalizing it to like, okay, he's turning over a new leaf, and this is gonna work this time, because now he's willing to be honest, even though he wasn't like telling me that, he wasn't giving me no more information. I just felt like maybe he would start being honest in the future because he was willing to take the lie detector test. Okay, so my family asks me a couple times, like, what's going on with the lie detector test, like, what's happening? And I just basically tell them the same thing that I told y'all, like, I got scammed, I don't really trust it, and the fact that he was willing to take it is enough for me. And he looked at me like, I'm sure a lot of you are looking at me right now. So to sum it up, that's pretty much how I ended up back with him. Okay, now we're gonna go to how that translated into a birthday trip. So, please do not take notes for me in this department. Like, what I'm about to say is so stupid. So, I felt like he was going to make a change because that's what he said. And he said that, before I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Now I'm 10 toes in. I know what it feels like to lose you. I don't want to lose you again. So forth and so on. And I'm all in. When he said that, I believed him. And since I believed him, I'm like, you know what? I got to do the same thing. I got to be 10 toes down, and I have to go harder than I already was. Mind you, I was going pretty hard. So I had to go harder. I was going so hard that he used to always make a comment saying I cared too much about the relationship. Ladies, if somebody tells you you care too much about the relationship, run.
Run. If somebody tells you you care too much about this relationship, that means they don't give a fuck. They don't care at all. And they have no intention of matching what you giving. You doing too much. You caring too much about us. You gotta pump your brakes a bit. No. Leave. Go to somebody that can match your energy. He's telling her, your energy's up here. You need to bring it down, because I'm never going where you are with it. When people tell you how they feel about you, believe them.
So now that I said I'm 10 toes down, he says he's 10 toes down.
20 toes.
I just start being 10 toes. And since I knew his birthday was coming up, I started planning, like, very soon after we got back together. I hit up all his friends and family and asked them if they can send me between a 10 to 15 second video of them saying happy birthday and what he means to them. So they did. I downloaded some editing software on my computer. Was doing a whole spiel editing. Now, mind you, I had a trip coming up in August. His birthday is in September. The trip that I had coming up in August was to Vegas with my sister. I go to Vegas with $500. I leave.
He's a Virgo. I'm gonna just leave that at that.
With $5,000. Like, I hit big. I was doing my thing out there. Come back to the towns. I break bread with my mother, break bread with my sister, break bread with my stepfather, and then I think I had like about either $3,000 or $2,500 left after everything was said and done, and I spent all of that for this trip. And then that's just the money that I had from Vegas. I was already saving money for his birthday trip that I knew that I was planning already. Mind you that. And before I even accumulated any of that money from Vegas, I already bought our flights. So the flights was already taken care of.
This man cheated on you. You took him back. And then you decided, I can't be 10 toes down. I need to be 20 toes down. And I'm going to take you on a birthday trip. And I'm going to put together a cute little video about how much you mean to me. And I'm going to do all of this. And all he had to do was cry a little bit to get you back. All he had to do was cry a little bit to get you back. And you went through all of this after being cheated on. When you get cheated on and you find yourself doing the absolute most, all you're really trying to do is prove to him that you are worth being faithful to. It's subconscious. You might be thinking like, oh, I'm just doing this out of the kindness of my heart. What you're really doing is trying to prove your worth. You're trying to prove that you are worth being faithful to. And I'm here to tell you now, none of that matters to a cheater. You could have went and bought the moon and dropped it off. And he'd be like, why you ain't grab the sun?
Got the rental car, paid for all the restaurants we went to out there, paid for all the activities, paid for all the excursions, paid for everything that we wanted to do. Just kept asking him, what do you want to do? Whatever you want to do, let's go do it. Okay. And then I played the video. And then the video came out amazing. Everything was heartfelt. He got emotional. I was getting emotional. And at that moment, only in that moment did I just feel like, okay, everything was worth it just to make him happy. Because when I seen he was that happy, it kind of gave me a glimpse of the man that I once knew and fell in love with. And that is how that happened. Okay. Later, guys.
That is the end of that. So I kind of told you what I think about the whole situation in these two parts. If you did not watch part 1 and would like to after all of that, I will link it below. But the biggest takeaway from that for me was to trust your intuition and advocate for yourself quickly. Forgiveness does not always mean reconnection. And no matter how much you love someone, no matter how much you care for someone, no matter how much you value someone, you have to love yourself more. You have to love yourself more than you love that person. You have to respect yourself more than the love you have for that person. You have to honor yourself more than the love you have for that person. Because you have to put you first when they don't. And that has to be a non-negotiable. That's all I have to say about that. So comment below. Let me know what you think and how you would handle that situation, because it's a lot. It was a lot going on, but she learned from it. She grew from it. And in the end, that's all that matters. Life is a journey. And sometimes that journey is hard, but it's all for your good in the end. And I hope he, no matter what his truth is, decided to live in it instead of taking women through this type of thing over and over and over and over again, because it's not fair and it's not right, and it is not your obligation to choose men or choose women, but it is your obligation to be honest. No matter what you decide to do, no matter what you decide to do, it is your job to be honest with the people that you are sharing your life with, because it's not fair for them to live in a lie because you decide you're not ready to tell the truth. If you find yourself in a situation where you're not sure which way to go, stay still, but do so alone. That's my opinion. And that's it for today. Thank you all for sticking it out and thugging this out with me. This was a long one. This was a long video, but well worth it. Very entertaining. The link to this creator's page is down below as well. And comment below. Let me know what other kind of stories you would like to see. And I also have an anonymous story submission on Reddit. And I have a link below that you can click to submit your own stories anonymously, ask questions, ask for advice, or just simply vent. So make sure you use that link below as well. I look forward to seeing you guys and sharing more with you guys. And let me know what you think about the new filming setup. Let me know if you like it or if you prefer the old one. Thank you so much for tuning in to Be Fucking For Real. Please like, comment, and share. Add me on Facebook. Follow my personal social media pages. And I will see you all next time. And that's it for episode 3. Bye.